Hello there, and welcome to Homeschooling Adventures. My name is PJ Raoul, and in this video, we are going to be looking at the concept of the shutdown point. In other words, we are going to be looking at the shutdown point. Now, someone will be asking what is meant by the shutdown point. Now, a firm will shut down if it cannot meet its average variable cost. In other words, the revenue that they are earning from selling the products that they are producing, if it is not enough to meet its total variable cost, then the firm will shut down. In other words, I've said a firm considers to shut down when its total revenue is not enough to meet their total variable cost. Then in such a case, it would mean that the business can consider to close down. And then a firm it can also be said that a firm will consider to close down when their average revenue is not enough for them to be able to meet their average variable cost. So at any point where we have our average revenue being less than the average variable cost, then we are saying the firm should consider to shut down. Okay, now this concept can be illustrated using a graph, and then with a graph I'm just going to use a perfect market graph. Okay, and then that side is our quantity, that side is the origin, and this one is my demand curve for the perfect market. So D is equal to MR, which is equal to our AR, and obviously this is equal to our price according to the individual firm in a perfect market. Now you do now understand that when we are drawing our perfect market graph, we used to say our average cost curve was a U-shaped curve like this, okay, and this one was our average cost. Okay, in other words, this average cost, it resembled what we call the average total cost. In other words, this resembled what we called our average total cost curve. Okay, in other words, it was made up of two components: the average fixed cost and the average variable cost. Okay, now this was in a perfect market. Now it would now mean that when we say the shutdown point, we said in this case it is when the firm's average revenue is not enough to cover the average variable cost. So now we need to see where the average variable cost is. So our average variable cost, learners, is lower than our average total cost. In other words, it lies lower than our average total cost, and this one is our average variable cost. Okay, and just going back a little bit to our perfect market, you do now need to understand that we have here our average total cost, which is our AC curve, and then we have our average variable cost, which we have just drawn there. And then you would now need to also remember we need our marginal cost, which means now our marginal cost, it comes in as a tick. Okay, that's our marginal cost. Now the thing that we need now to understand is a firm, it shuts down when its average revenue, in this case this average revenue, is not enough to cover its average variable cost. So we are saying this is our average variable cost and this is our average revenue. So if our average revenue is not enough to cover our average variable cost, then we are saying that firm can consider to close down. Now the question that comes to mind is, where is the firm supposed to close down? Now you need to understand that our shutdown point, dear learners, it is a point at which our MC curve is equal to our AVC. So a point at which our MC curve is equal to our AVC is called our shutdown point. Okay? So in this context, we need to identify the shutdown point. We said it's a point at which MC, which is this tick that we have here, okay, this tick here, okay, that we have, it is a point at which our MC curve is equal to our AVC curve. okay, which is, this one is our average variable cost. So at what point is MC equal to AVC? MC is equal to AVC at this point that I'm going to call point A, for example. Okay, I'm going to call it point A. Now at this point, this is what it means. It would now mean that the business at this point, if they are selling their products at a price that is less than this point, it doesn't make any economic sense for the business to continue operating, because the amount of revenue that they are going to be earning, if it lies lower than this point here, then it means the firm is supposed to consider shutting down. Only when the amount of revenue lies lower than this point that I've indicated A, then the firm should consider shutting down. Okay, so this is the point that we call the shutdown point. Now in the graphs, for example, it would now mean maybe this side, maybe we are producing 10 units, and those 10 units, they are produced at a cost of maybe 10 rands. So what it would mean is, if we are to produce 10 units, or we are to produce any number of units, but we are going to sell those number of units at a price that is lower than 10 rands, then the firm should close. For example, if we produce 8 units, okay, and these 8 units are going to be sold at a price probably that is going to be maybe less than the 10 rands, probably at a price like 8 rands, then it means at this point the firm should consider to shut down. Okay, this is the point at which our average revenue is less than our average variable cost, and in such instances the firm should consider to shut down. So this is our shutdown point, dear learners. Okay, so this is all we had on the concept of the shutdown. If you like the video, click the like button, and remember to subscribe to the channel. All the best in your studies. I'm out.